You're about to watch another exciting episode of the Dungeon Run, but did you know that you can actually be part of the adventure? Tune in live on Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and you can make your voice heard and help determine the fate of our adventurers. Hope to see you there.
Welcome, Watchers. You can borrow the power of a god and influence the journey of our adventurers. Join forces with other Watchers to drop a force of nature or a force of cosmos into our world. A trap, an advantage, a monstrous predator, or a portal to another dimension, where everyone is a talking sock hand. Force cards are unlocked level by level, each one increasing in power. You may dip your toe in godhood by purchasing a seed of nature or a spark of cosmos that will increase your force's strength. Or you may harness even greater power and purchase a mote of nature or a mote of cosmos and propel your force even faster to the next highest tier. Should you choose to affect the story of our adventurers, you can do so by using our custom extension to choose which side you're on, and maybe even help or hinder the player's dice rolls with an advantage or disadvantage while you're there. Use your powers wisely, Watchers.
Welcome back, everyone. We're live. It's episode 11. Woo! Yeah, episode 11. We also, if you are not caught up and would like to catch up, we have the beautiful Dungeon Rush, brought to you by the ever amazing Adam Slemon.
Hooray!
Our golden boy.
The golden
You might miss him.
That's very subtle.
Very subtle. So welcome back. We are your DMs, Ron and Jared. And I guess we go right into Two Kings.
Go right into it, yeah. We are here thanks with our friends of Two Kings Films, Two Kings Entertainment, twokingsfilms.com. They're wonderful, good folks that providing us with this wonderful stage and some of this equipment. Thank you, as always. They have some excellent shows themselves, including Vantom on Friday nights. I talk about it every week. It's a Pathfinder 2e show. And Erica Fermina, our friend Erica, just recently joined the cast. Sly Pixie, if you know her, she's fantastic. Also, Die Hard Dice! Our dice sponsor at Die Hard Dice, dieharddice.com. They have a new thing called Dracona Dice. They're gorgeous. It's a exclusive design, finished in silver and gold with a dragon scale inlay. I may have to get myself some of that anyway. But free shipping on U.S. orders of $30 or more and discounted international shipping. And if you go to dieharddice.com and use our discount code DungeonRun, no space. Patreon stuff. Jessica?
Hello, everybody. You can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/thedungeonrun, or you can just put command Patreon in the chat to find out more about what you can get. But I can tell you right now, you get cast secrets, you get DM insights, you get Slay or
TPK.
Posted
a new one
from
yesterday.
Adam.
Yeah.
Where you criticize?
I don't criticize.
Okay.
I comment on what people are wearing and what maybe they should not be wearing.
Okay. And we announced last week or 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago that there are brand new rewards at a number of our tiers. If you didn't know, if you are at any level, you have access to our close friends on Instagram, and we posted some fun BTS of Morgan
Dance rehearsal.
preparing his Funky Librarian dance. So go check that out. And there are free digital items for our higher level patrons. So if you want to redeem your free item that you get every single month, please message TDR_digital_items. I think if you start to type it in, it'll happen automatically. And by message, I mean on Twitch, you will whisper to them. It's the little chat icon that's up at the top of your navigation next to the Get Bits part, and you can message them at any time. They will get that message even if you're in a different time zone. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, a couple days later, message them anytime to redeem that. What else do we have for Patreon? We have a Patreon exclusive D&D campaign that is starting very soon. That is
Weekend.
Dungeon Master Morgan Peter Brown.
Thank you. I just posted a whole preamble on Patreon. You've got to check it out. I'm very excited. The response so far has been terrific. Our first 5 players have been selected, but we are doing a second game later this month because it's our first one. We're getting it started. So yeah, get in that tier and you'll be available to be selected for our second game. But I'm looking forward to playing with Gorbin Plate and Gold Family and Braba and Beaker Par and Your Past Decisions. Those are our first 5 players. Our friends. Can't wait.
So if you join the Patreon now, you can be part of the next game. That's a great reward. Thank you, Morgan.
It's pretty great. It hasn't started yet. It's pretty great.
So much confidence.
Pretty great.
I love it. I love it. I love it when the players have confidence.
I'm working hard on it.
And while we love our lovely Patreons who are a huge supporter of our show and keep our show running every week, we thank you. There are other ways to support the show. One of the biggest ways is our interactivity.
Woo-hoo.
Hey guys,
Great transition.
did you know this is an interactive show?
No, Jared, tell me all about it.
I would love to. So, I know my energy level is usually low, so I figured I'd bring it up a notch. So there are seeds of nature that you can purchase. There are also sparks of cosmos. I'll get it eventually.
You'll get it eventually.
Yeah. And motes. Those all build up. Right now, we are at level 3 Force of Nature and level 3 Force of Cosmos. So the next 2 cards will be tier 4 Force cards. These Force cards are suggested by you, the watchers, through our website. We then handpick them, print them out on these cool colored little cards here. And then when they get triggered, because of you, they go off in the show and they change the story, sometimes dramatically.
Yep.
Yeah.
You also can purchase advantages and disadvantages for each one of your favorite characters. We have a new interactive system here that uses Twitch bits, but just so that you know, our old system of the donation style straight through our
Twitch extension?
Twitch extensions, before the Twitch Streamlabs.
Oh.
That's
Yes.
it. That's the word I was looking for. The normal donation way that we use through Streamlabs is also still available, so feel free to purchase on either. A lot of this is just to add more interactivity to the show, to give everyone an option, and changes will come as the show continues. So I think that's pretty much in terms of interactivity. So we will have episode 12 next week, and then we're off on the 19th. But after that, we're going to have 2 straight weeks of Halloween goodness for all of you. So,
Or badness.
or badness, or badness, depending on choices.
Evilness.
And Jared's in a rare mood this evening. Right? He's in a rare mood.
It's been a rough week.
It's been a rough week. So I think we're ready to
Get funky?
Get funky.
Yeah.
Is that right?
We should explain why we're about to get funky.
So, thank you. Yes, thank you, everyone, as a gift to you all for all of the amazing gift subs that you gave us last week. We really appreciate you. You unlocked this reward. You did this.
You did this.
It's your fault.
Thank you.
I present to you the dance of the Funky Librarian. Sean, take it away.
Greetings, friends and loved ones. As a thank you for the wonderful barrage of gift subs that you gave us last week, I have been charged with teaching you all and the cast the dance of the Funky Librarian. So here we are. Adam, please. It begins in a library. You're bored. It's late at night. You're stamping books, as you've done many nights. But then, you hear adventure. Eldritch Blast! Eldritch Blast! Eldritch Blast! Eldritch Blast! Mage Hand! Mage Hand! Mage Hand! Mage Hand! Misty Step! Misty Step! Misty Step! Misty Step! Demon Wings! Demon Wings! And then, you craft your Hunger of Hadar as you're dropping demonic and necrotic energy onto your enemies! And you do a funky freestyle into the end. And then you bring it back together into the library. We think we got it? Okay, everybody.
We're gonna do this again. I'm gonna call in the cast now, and we're gonna do this together. If you got it at home, please join along. It's a pretty good workout. I've been doing this all day.
Wow! There we go! I just like wandered onto set. Like, what's this about?
No
Where's
idea
your
what's
table?
going on. You good, Adam?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, great.
Oh, nope, don't got it. Sorry.
Thank you all. I appreciate it. Everybody think they got it?
Yeah.
All the best Warlock
We'll see,
Librarian
we'll see.
moves? Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go. When you're ready.
Yes. Eldritch Blast! Eldritch Blast! Eldritch Blast! Eldritch Blast! Mage Hands! Mage Hands! Misty Step! Misty Step! Misty Step! Misty Step! Demon Wings! Demon Wings! Hunger of the Dog!
Thank you.
Follow that, DM.
Yeah.
Exhausted.
I just want to say I really enjoyed the family-friendly twerking.
That's right. That's right.
Wonderful.
right.
Was
Yeah.
well done.
We'll have to do that again. We'll have to set up like a sub-level again
Indeed.
at some
Yes.
point.
Give me a little bit.
Funky Librarian phase 2.
Interpretive dance of the previous epic battle. So,
Yeah.
stuff
Very
like
nice.
that.
You know, you can submit force cards that require players to do dances. I'm just saying.
And you don't even know what we'll do when we hit reach level 4 and 5, or if you
no.
unlock even higher than that, you don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
It feels like a threat.
Shall we start the show?
I think so. I think we're ready.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah. Let's enter the storm. We begin.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
You ready?
Yeah.
Sure.
Very serious show
I think,
tonight.
I think tonight might be funky.
Funky night.
We begin with a hug.
Aww.
As Oluvar, the Ramhidi shepherd, steps forward and embraces any of you that are standing nearby, thanking you profusely for rescuing his soul, literally, bringing it back to Freda, the dream spinner Ursaka, and placing his soul back into the wooden husk that he had formed himself into. Tears are streaming down his face as all of his Ramhidi followers begin to more or less bow and pray in thanks to all of you. The Ursaka that are there seem to be sort of taken aback at all of this outpouring of love and emotion, but there are notably quite a few missing. Ursaka and Ramhidi. And you're not exactly sure what happened to them. Maybe they're gone. Maybe they're just not inside of this small tent with the rest of you. But Oluvar, his warmth, his love, and his caring for each of you is palpable. I prayed that you would come. I knew that the storms would bring you. You are the Stormborn, whether you like it or not. And he says this to all of you, even you, Cristobal, which before, you remember, he was kind of like, who are you?
You'll never forget it.
But there's a moment of peace inside of this small wooden tent that all of you are in. And then when he releases the embrace, he just stands there for a moment looking at all of you. There is so much to discuss, so many things to say. Visions that I had when I was trapped inside of that tree. The souls crying out for help.
Yeah.
But also I sense the corruption, the sickness, the black fungal growth that was eating away at the inside of the treant. It was horrible.
Could you sense its source?
No, I just sensed its presence.
Did you sense a lot of souls with you? Or
Yes.
just the darkness?
Well, I believe I sensed your warmth at one point, and that's what brought me forth.
I wouldn't ever abandon you.
I know.
You must be so tired. Can we make you comfortable? Yeah. And I'm gonna try to like get some like pillows.
Yeah, as soon as you turn and Otto starts panicking, Drek is right there and he sort of puts his large paw on your shoulder and says, "You deserve rest as well. Let me and my family handle that."
Okay, but you specifically, maybe no, because you're
hurt, right?
I don't want to be the one who says it, but you kind of look almost dead.
I will be fine.
You deserve rest too, is what I'm saying. Okay?
So we should all talk in the morning.
So for now, it's like kind of like a slumber party, right? Like we're all just gonna hang out in this hut and like sleep and like maybe get some snacks.
I must tend to my flock.
Understood.
Yes.
Makes sense.
I was talking about, you remember it was like last time when we were outside and they were inside.
So time to tell each other how we feel.
Yes.
Oh, I like all of you.
Thanks.
I like you too.
It's a good start.
Yeah. But is there, you said you saw visions in there.
Yes, I just want to warn you that this is just the beginning.
Beginning?
Yes.
How so?
Well, when I was trapped inside of that tree, I could sense how far things had spread. And my worry is that it goes outside of the dark woods.
There is a sickness that has taken the crops and the animals where I am from, as far as the South Island. It rings very true to what we saw in the dark wood.
Did it cause the trees to die?
It caused them to wither. I do not know if they all died. It did not appear as harsh as it did here.
What of the animals?
They were sick and dying.
I see.
If this is going to affect all plant life in trees, then I have to go home. My family, the Willowstep tribe, they rely on traveling between willows, great willows, and if the fungi is going to tear those trees down, then I can't stay here. I have to go.
We saw Hanolo
The will of Bahatha.
Yes, we saw. He helped us rescue you. He's out there right now, or it's out there right now, destroying the corruption. It's pretty single-minded. We tried to talk to it about other things, and it had zero interest. I mean,
He's a little busy.
he's a little busy. Oh,
The beast, Freda, sort of being quiet this whole time
Right.
in the back, says, it is because it is a beast.
okay. I mean, but like, what? Bahatha seems to have the best people on it.
Yes, because Bahatha knows.
All right.
Because it has been communicated to Bahatha.
Can Bahatha send a little bit of our communication that way, or our way?
You wish to speak to Bahatha?
I wish to like a little bit know more about what's going on.
Well-
I'm sorry. I respect all of you, and I'm glad you're all right. I'm glad we could do something for you, but I am operating on a bunch of assumptions and guesses from people that I met 3 days ago. And if my family is vulnerable and they're in need, I would like to go back to them. So
I agree. I feel the same way.
Well, we don't know how much it's spread, right? If it's like roots on a tree, we don't know if it has reached your families yet.
Well, it's gone all the way to the South Island, potentially.
Well, we don't know where it stops.
But this you keep calling us the Stormborn, and I see it. I see that you mean it as an honorific, as something to be proud of. You're the only clue I have to what any of that is. I don't know what we like. We're just guessing. We're stabbing around in the dark. And I just need a little more direction. And because otherwise it's too much.
Is it perhaps that you have been given direction, and yet you have not seen it, or have been aware that direction has been given? Bahatha works in natural ways. The change of the wind, the change in color of the leaves, the gentle buzzing of a bee in your ear.
Triggered.
Are you okay?
Yes. I have my own concerns.
Yeah.
And some of them I should keep to myself.
I don't mean to sound selfish. I'm sorry.
Well, you do. You sound quite selfish.
I think...
I just met you.
And we are dying.
My family could be dying right now, and
They are not here. You are here now. This is happening now. Your family is not here. I understand your family dying, and I can totally understand where you are coming from. I have lost my own family. You see them missing here.
But if you understand...
If this was turned in the other direction, I would not be so selfish with your family's needs.
Well, I'm trying to explain to you that I indeed do now fear for my family. If
And
this
we will
fungus
do.
that is overtaking trees and my family takes refuge under trees, then my family might be wiped out just as yours is.
And we were pulled out of our lives.
Such
You
is the
are
will
with
of
your
the
family.
gods.
The will of the gods, my
Says
God.
whom?
My God
The
has barely
gods.
spoken a word to me.
Bahatha speaks to me in dreams.
My God says nothing except for a
Perhaps
slight
your
grab-
God has been trapped somewhere. Perhaps we have no idea. We have nothing, no understanding of what is going on.
I feel it grab my butt sometimes, though.
Wait, your God grabs your butt?
Yes, it's just like a slight sort of cupping.
Oh, okay. Is that normal?
So far, it feels normal. Yes, it's happened several times, and so I know my God is there.
Like flirty there, or
I think it is a bit flirty.
like a little? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
it feels. I get flirted with often, but it is a bit flirty.
So let me understand you correctly. You are upset that your God has not communicated with you because it doesn't flirt with you enough.
Okay.
That is what it sounded like.
Let's, just de-escalate the situation.
My enemy is not any of you.
I know, we're all very tired. We've all been up. All of our came back from the dead. And we are all so tired. I think we just all need to take like a second and just rest, and we'll be clear-minded in the morning, okay? I know there's nothing that we can do in this instant, so let's just
go to sleep.
Yeah, or not take our anger out on each other.
Yes.
I think it would be best if we all spent some time in contemplation. Perhaps then you will find some of those answers you seek. I am truly sorry if I caused any of you any harm. And if you wish to leave, I will find you the quickest path back to your homes. I think it is best that we tend to our own.
Yes. And she looks very pointedly at Val and says, I believe that has been the choice that is made. Forgive me. And she walks into the back, looks at, as she does, she turns and looks at Ursoon and Grenlick, who begin to sort of...
Grenlick's not there.
Oh yeah, that's right, he left.
Yeah,
That's right.
He was pretty upset.
He was pretty upset. Ursoon, who is still around, looks to him, and as she ducks into the back, behind her netted wall, he seems to... I need a few of you. And he looks at a couple of the Ursaka. He looks at Kjack, and Kjack sort of looks down at his own arm, and Ursoon nods, and a couple of the other Ursaka follow Ursoon out of the hut.
But not Jack.
No, Kjack stays. Yeah, he's clearly too hurt to move anywhere.
So as we start to gather and settle in for sleep, Saint is going to turn to her party and say in hushed undertones, I'm at a bit of a crossroads here. I am feeling called to go back to my family. I haven't seen them in a decade, but I've been following my god's orders, or so I think, for a while, to be here and just follow the path, and it might bring me to my sister, but if there's a fungi growing, I can't do it alone, is what I'm getting at. And so I was wondering if, I know you all have places to be, but the Willowstep is warmer, and I don't quite know how we would get there, but...
Do you know what direction it's in?
I know it's south.
Question, what direction was it that KoKo planted the worms? Was that...
It was deep in the dark wood.
Yeah, it was in the dark wood,
deeper
but
in the
like-
dark wood.
But like, and then the buzzing's on the other side.
It's
of that,
towards the
basically.
buzzing, yeah.
So you were going straight to the heart of the dark wood, and you didn't make it all the way there.
Right.
You stopped when you found the tree ants and Oluvar's soul. So you planted it there, which was close, pretty close to the heart of the dark wood, and it was still a significant location, so it still triggered the worm. But you know that you could go even deeper if you wanted to. Especially you being a ranger and having spent a bunch of time in the woods, you saw how old the trees were getting, the deeper you went. And so you knew that you weren't quite to the heart yet.
Could you show us where the Willowstep would be in relation to where we are?
The elderberry wilds.
And the Hanging Gardens are...
Hanging Gardens are
there.
Yeah.
So the Hanging Gardens are east and the Elderberry Forest is left?
So the Hanging Gardens are directly
range.
south of Los Camelin, where you're currently at.
Yeah.
And the elderberry wilds are on the other side of the island, south of the Mavros Mountains, where the Anatox Basin was.
There's a big old mountain range between us and all of it.
And you're trying to get back to the elderberry wilds?
Well, I'm trying to get back to my family, yes.
But they're near...
Are you talking about your elven family or your Lexodon?
Elven.
Okay.
Yeah, the forest.
They're near the they're in the elderberry wilds?
Yes, they're nomadic, so they will I don't know exactly where they are at any time.
Well, I'll go with you because that's where I'm going, but I do want to check on my worms first.
We could do that. And of course I want to hear what Oluvar's visions told them. But you could meet my wood elf side of my family.
I didn't realize we were going to the same place.
Why are you going there?
Oh, it's the last place that I remember my family being.
Oh, so you're from the Elderberry Wilds and you're from the Elderberry Wilds? That's cool.
But you weren't there for the earthquake, were you?
No.
It's good.
I thought you were in the Feywild. Are there more than... How many wilds are there?
It's confusing, I know.
Drek, I didn't know you were still here.
He actually said Drek's the only one that doesn't leave.
Yeah. He's just hanging out.
He's badly injured.
I mean, literally, like, bleeding.
Extending to your wounds.
Okay.
Hanging on by a bone.
Sorry, I didn't
He was
mean to
unconscious.
interrupt.
I just... If staying here, if doing this is really the right thing to do, I'm being asked to trust the gods. I'm being asked to trust Oluvar. I'm being asked to trust Frida. I never met Oluvar and Frida before 3 days ago, so they seem like wise, nice people, but I'm also having a hard time.
Well, Val, what if I just asked you to believe in me? And come with me? And only on the precipice that we are newly friends and have mutual respect.
I just don't know. The gods brought me here, and no one has gone between the islands for 300 years. So there is a very good chance Cristobal and I, the only chance Cristobal and I have to get home is through the gods.
So we just need to talk to some gods,
I mean,
right?
yeah.
Well, we sort of just did, right?
We were also the first ones to cross the islands.
What do you mean?
Well, you just said you're the first ones to come here.
Yes. That's what I mean, the first to cross the islands.
Right,
And so, and the gods made that happen, seemingly. We think, again, operating on guesses.
I could pay you.
But
I don't have money now, but I could pay you to accompany me, if that's what it takes.
What Oluvar said could be, or Frida said, could be right. I mean, possibly we do have a lot in our bags. We have that like looking towards the skull. Like we have a lot. And so I think, I don't know, I think we need to take a long, hard look.
Speaking of the skull,
Yeah, what up, skull?
What up,
a whole lot of stuff happened.
Don't look at it.
We got what are those? Moat. Thank you. Moat of Cosmos from Abracadabra.
Thank you.
And a Moat of Nature from Breba.
Woo!
And then some seeds. 2 seeds of nature from Angel Devilson.
Amazing.
Woo!
And a seed of nature from Deep Democracy. Oh, that's new. A spark of cosmos from Tapartos. Another seed of nature from Angel Devilson. And a seed of nature from Svenetti.
Yay!
Wow.
Very
Close to both level 4 in the next one. Very close.
Yeah.
I mean, yay!
Yeah, so the skull actually kind of lights up and blinks and flashes when you reference it.
Yeah.
Don't look at it.
I'm not looking at it.
Don't look
It's just,
at
I
it.
kind of like it. I don't know.
Cristobal, you haven't said anything in a while. What are you thinking?
Well, you talk about dealing with the problem of your family or concern of your own family, and I get that. What we're looking at here in the Darkwood is a problem that is stretching across the island, and we do not know exactly what problem we are facing. We do not know if it is what has affected your family.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it's what affected my homeland, but we are here with people who understand nature in a way I could never understand it. And we are at a place which is in dire need of our help. While it may seem selfless to help them, they may provide us with answers that could help ourselves. Meanwhile, if we were to travel, for instance, to the elderberry wilds, it would take weeks, months, and in that time, what else may happen? The pestilence could spread, death, despair. I am not someone who is looking to be a hero. But if the solution can be found by taking out the obstacle or problem immediately in front of us, that is the way Cristobal would think.
So you're saying that by healing the pestilence, the fungi, that maybe that will stop it from spreading?
That's what I think too.
But it may also provide us answers. We might find out what is causing the fungi in the first place. And maybe that will lead us to what is causing greater disturbances. If you think about it, that the fungi is not natural. It is a creation of some malevolent force that needs to be dealt with. And that is affecting nature, which could be causing storms.
The last time we heard from the gods was, besides the occasional boop on the butt, you two had a vision, yes? That you shared.
Yeah.
And it was of that town, of that astral dwarven town. What else? And those visions were mostly about the frost giants and the dwarves coming to great conflict and a bloodbath, is what it sounded like, right? Is there any other big things that you remember from that vision that...
It was the Black Fire, which was called what? What did we call that?
Hellfire.
Hellfire. It was the Hellfire.
There may be more in these books. Right. And from my bag, I pull out torn, discarded documents,
right.
Bindings that barely contain a page or two, that I did my best to grab what I could from the tower before it submerged.
Oh, you got a lot.
Yes, but most of it, I haven't had time to look at it. We've been kind of preoccupied. But most of it is half-written, smudged. I need to study it. Perhaps you may help me study. Maybe there is an answer in here about what is going on, or at least to clarify more of your vision.
I would absolutely love to study anything that you might have gotten from that place, because I want to learn magic, and this give it to me.
Knowledge is a step towards magic.
Okay.
And you must learn in order to progress.
Yeah. I'm so good at learning.
I know. That's why I thought we'd work so well together.
Yeah.
So, again, going back to what we were talking about and where we should go, information, be it information from these books, or information about the pestilence, or information about anything, I think would benefit us.
I agree.
And as much of a hurry as I am in to get back to where I am from, as I'm sure you are, rushing blind back to where we are from with no weapons or information, we would just be another victim.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Otto. Yeah. You said that you don't want to be a hero.
Sure.
Well, I never thought I wanted to be a hero either. And it seems I had been chosen, perhaps, to be a hero by Aether. But you say that you want to find the root of what's going on, and I think that you are right. Mm. But I see what's happening as sort of it's like looking into the eye of a hurricane. It's like looking at an earthquake. I don't want to find the source. I just want to take cover and save the people I love. I don't want to be the hero. I just want to hide, and I want to be safe.
There is no safety in hiding.
There can be.
Not if it is spreading the way it appears to be spreading. It will infect every part of us, from the food we eat to the water we drink, and it will find you and your family.
Can I ask, Saint? First of all, it's okay to be scared, but what are you afraid of? You've fought so bravely every time we've come up against something. It's like second nature to you. I don't know. Did you know that about yourself?
Very brave, and you were always stepping in front of us, too.
It's just with the power of Aitha.
It's your power. You're capable, you're powerful.
Maybe you need to own that power.
I make hammers.
What?
I make hammers.
Wow.
I make armor. I make weapons.
Drek, that's a great idea.
Oh, I was saying that is not Drek who swings axe.
Oh.
It is not Drek who dons armor. It is the brothers and sisters that I make them for that do that. Drek gives them things. Is it Drek who tells them how to use tool? I don't know how gods work. Bahatha has never really spoken to Drek. I believe, because I see trees grow, and I see the tree outside sprout fruit and mushrooms on the ground. It feeds us. But outside of that, I trust in Freda. But maybe, and he looks at Val, maybe I should not have.
I don't...
Maybe it is Drek's responsibility to learn.
You lost your brother.
Yes.
Your family here is in danger from this very clear thing, and you are here to help them. My brother and my sister right now, they feel vulnerable to me. And if I'm here to help them, like you said, okay. But I don't know that I am. We were dropped here with nary an instruction. It could have just, we're operating on a lot of assumptions right now. We could have just been a freak accident.
Sure. Our families could all be dead.
Drek could be dead if you were not here.
The truth is, you can't change that right now. What you can change is what is in front of you.
The thing I worry about the gods, if you spent a lot of time around people who are like really powerful, people who can like snap their fingers and get things brought to them, you know?
Yeah.
I've spent, and the thing you start to learn when you're around them for a while is that they're not that much smarter than you or I or the average person. They're just powerful, they're really powerful. And the gods are the most powerful, but they're selfish, they're prone to mood swings, they all of these things, they have emotions just like all of us. And so a god seemingly has decided my life is taking a massive right turn, and I'm just supposed to say okay. And it's hard, it's very hard. But like I said, if truly this is where the corruption is coming from, and this can help everything, okay. But I guess I'd like to feel a little more secure in my knowledge of that.
I don't know if this is helpful to you, but I know when a sickness happens in a person, an owlin, like myself, it usually starts from a center point and spreads, right? And so, tactically speaking, if we're able to extract the venom, it should slow the spread. And so by healing the Darkwood, I believe we will extract even just a little bit of that venom, that ichor, the rot that's in there, and it'll slow the spread. And that could mean everybody's safer just a little longer.
It buys us time.
Because the South Island, where you're from, right? It's very far away, I assume.
And everything's connected. I mean, oceans have seafloor, and I just, Saint, if you want to go, I'll go with you.
Well, that's 4 of us.
I would like to wait until we know what's happening here, but I'd go.
Let's gather the information, like Cristobal said.
If you want to go there after here,
Yeah.
I will go with you. But I don't want to rush to the aid of people I cannot help. And the only way we can find a way to help is by dealing with what we are dealing with here.
And we know that deeper in the dark wood, the astral dwarves were there too.
Yes.
Like they were in Brudevik. So there are hints. I just really wish the gods were being a little more forthcoming.
Well,
Is there-
let us study these materials that we have. Perhaps there are answers here.
Yeah, and there's gods, but there's also the bad stuff too. So there could be, things in our way that aren't necessarily gods, right? Because I think that the scary, what are they called? Hyena drippy guys.
The gnolls and the Lacrota.
Yeah, I don't think that is the work of a god. It could be.
Demons.
They were corrupted.
Yeah.
Well, in that, I mean, you saw that honeycomb, whatever you want to call it, those homes of those wasps. It went
Down.
deep.
Yeah, Bahatha would never do that. So, I don't know.
Why don't we rest and try and deal with the Darkwood? And then afterward, we will go with you. We will help.
Okay. Okay. Let's go to sleep.
Do you want to stay up?
I'm going to stay up and read a bit, just for an hour or so.
Yeah, I would also like to stay up and read a bit. I'm just gonna copy you. Learning by doing.
P.S. I totally thought you were going to say Drek was going to build us some more.
Kjack is already sleeping.
He was like, oh, sweet.
So Cristobal is going to. I'm assuming you all are laying down.
I'm not, but do you?
Sorry, he's going to take the giant tome that came with the Gauntlet of the Astral Dwarves, and he's going to put it in front of him, and then look up to Otto and say, "This is very advanced.
Yes.
However,
good.
maybe there is something here," and he hands you the pile of papers and broken books that he mended as best as he could, and perhaps there is some information in there you can glean while I try to study this.
Okay.
And yes.
Are there like keywords I should be?
No. Knowledge is not a straightforward quest. It is not something where I tell you, look for this and the answer will appear. It
How
is
do you
about.
know you have the right answer?
There is no right answer. There is just information.
Okay.
If you're going to learn magic from me,
Yeah.
every day I will come to you and say, tell me 3 things you learned today.
Okay.
This knowledge will make you a better magic user. It will make you a better person because you will learn.
Is this how you learned magic?
It is the way my father taught me, yes.
Okay.
So, see what you can learn. It may not be the answers you think we need, but it may be the answers we end up needing at some point.
Okay. Is there? I know that you said that there are things that you'd like to learn from me. Do you have any questions for me?
Many. But many. But for now, let us focus on...
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're totally focused.
Yeah, but
Got it.
we have much time together. We will learn.
Okay.
Okay.
Or while they focus, we got some sparks and seeds and motes here. So Tapartos with 3 sparks of cosmos.
Thank you.
We've got a seed of nature from Artemis Dixon. Thank you. That's one I haven't heard yet, so thank you. We also have a mote of cosmos from Ariok of Chaos.
Thank you.
And seed of nature from, is Sitar a god?
Sitar messages.
Indeed. All of that, actually, we're still level 3 in Force of Nature, but we do have a level 4 Force of Cosmos unlocked.
Oh,
no!
So,
okay.
Let's be
Here we go.
They're starting to get crazy now.
This one is called Artificial Gravity. I was going to tell a gravity joke here, but no one was going to fall for it. At the start of the next combat, each creature must make a DC 14 Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, a creature takes 2d8 force damage, and its speed is halved until the end of its next turn. Any object that isn't being worn or carried in the area requires a successful strength check DC 14 to pick up or move. The duration is 1d4 rounds.
Ooh, that's all creatures?
Every creature.
Okay, all right.
All
as long as it's
creatures
equal.
that would be affected by gravity, that is.
Oh. So not flying creatures.
So birds.
Oh no, flying
creatures.
Yeah.
There are.
That's why they have to fly.
Wait, so wait,
bones are
creatures
hollow.
wouldn't be
The
affected by
Feywild.
gravity?
Moving on.
Uh-oh. You had to do something.
So yeah, that's triggered.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
So while they're talking, KoKo takes Slushie outside to go pee and asks Val to come along.
Yeah, I think Val
Is too tired?
sees. No.
Okay.
I think Val is restless, watching. Probably sits and listens to Otto and Cristobal kind of start to exchange notes a little bit and talk about this. But he's probably restless. He realizes this isn't what he's good at.
Do you want to get some air?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yes!
Oh, I forgot he talked.
How could you forget?
I've been trying to be very good and only speak when I need to.
Okay, Slushie, it's a slumber party, so you gotta keep your voice down.
But I think Val noticed. I think Val noticed how upset Saint seemed as she tried to lay down to sleep. And as Val leaves with KoKo, his echo appears at her side and is sitting next to her as she sleeps. At least for a little bit. Until he's probably just sitting there. He's probably just staying near
Patting
her.
her butt. Not now.
No.
Is this what he wants?
No.
He's fine. He's a gentleman.
He's a gentleman. The Echo is a pure gentleman. Val, on the other hand, no, I'm kidding. So it's probably there just for a little bit until Val moves 30 feet past and then it's gone. But
Did you say what color your echo is?
It's bluish. It's like a bluish, silvery, misty. It's not quite incorporeal because it can hit and touch and move things, but it's not quite solid.
And you said it was like a handsomer version of Val.
Kind of, yeah.
Is that just what Val thinks, or is it truly handsomer?
That is your decision.
Okay.
Its clothes are nicer. Its scales are a little less scuffed.
Okay.
So he's a little spiffier than Val. If you choose to think that is handsomer, then great.
Oh my god, we have a mimic tier in our campaign.
While you are standing there, anybody that can see Val's clone can make a perception check.
I'm.
Can't you see
If
it?
you're out, you're out.
I think I'm looking away from it and it appears behind me.
Anybody that would just look at it.
13.
I'll say Saint's sleeping.
Oh boy.
But she is gonna wake up.
Okay.
9.
Okay.
11.
You all see it. It's pretty obvious. The eyes of the copy look like small galaxies with stars floating in them.
And we definitely all think that he's handsomer.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You can literally see the stars.
Ouch!
Wow. You're the one who said it.
If you choose to think if that's yes.
And for a moment, the expression on the copy is looking down at Saint, but the head slowly looks up at Val as he walks out, and you see the eyes narrow and stare at him as he walks out.
Huh?
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't look at me.
Echo is staring
Don't look
its
at
eyes
me. I don't know.
And then when
I
he walks
control
30 feet away, it
Only so
vanishes.
much.
Morgan controls some things about the Echo. I have given the DMs. Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Do I understand what kind of magic he's emitting? Or what kind of...
It's not magic.
It's not magic. Then never mind.
Yeah.
Then there you go.
I mean, you could try casting Detect Magic if you want, but you didn't register it
Right.
whenever
Right.
it got triggered before.
Right, so...
It's not triggering your arcane knowledge in any way.
Interesting.
What do you mean by not magic?
It's not registering to a wizard that this is an arcane spell that he's doing.
Right. He's
What
not
about
casting it.
would it? Does that include like primal spells and the other type of spells too?
Well, he didn't ask that.
Oh, you
That's
asked
what I
specifically
yeah,
arcane?
arcane.
Okay.
That's what I know.
Okay.
Yes, just again to clarify for everyone: primal, divine, arcane.
Right.
That clears nothing.
Druids, clerics, wizards.
There you go.
Okay. Okay. So KoKo,
Yeah.
KoKo was outside with Val and Slushie. Slushie,
Yeah.
stay close by, but go to the bathroom. Go potty.
Oh, I went when we first got here, but I can go again, sure. And he trots off.
Stay close by. I don't want.
I can do what I want.
Have you ever had a pet that talks before?
I have.
You have?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Feywild stuff, right?
Yeah. I had a pet rock. I had like a pet butterfly. They all had different personalities. It was pretty great.
A rock with a personality.
Yeah. He wasn't. Yeah, he was okay. So hey, I know that you were real upset in there. I just thought you could use some air, but I did wanna ask you, were you in the forest when I planted those the worms? Were you near? Did you see what happened?
Yeah, I think I was over with Hanolo, kind of.
Was he gone or was he?
No,
he
I
not
was
there?
I was there. I
there.
wasn't paying much attention,
Okay.
but yeah, because I was
So,
focused on Hanolo at the time.
What did it look like from your vantage point? Because you were kind of further away. It was hard to tell what was happening real close by. Does that make sense?
I mean, worms jumped out of the glass jar you had, right?
yeah, but then
And
didn't
then
you see them
and then
like
a
get
stone
bigger
circle,
and
then a stone circle appeared in the ground.
yeah, and the worms got bigger.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. Did they? Did
Yeah.
we? Yeah, the worms. Yeah, but they stayed there in the circle of
Yep.
death, right?
Yep. And they were kind of writhing over the top of one another, and you notice that the soil immediately went from being this sort of frozen permafrost with lots of tree fall to this rich
Right.
potting soil, almost like there's little bits of nitrogen sitting in the soil itself, and it's broken up like it was recently tilled.
Nutrient-rich soil.
Thank you.
You welcome.
So, say we go back to visit my worms.
Okay, it's a pretty dangerous area, but
Well, we have to go there to go deeper into the woods,
I guess.
if that's where we're going. I'm just
Okay.
saying, hypothetically.
What are you worried about?
Well, I'm just wondering, like, do you think somehow that the worms will fix the dark wood?
I don't think that's what they're there to do.
But you saw the dirt get really, like, it was yummy. It tasted like chocolate.
But, I mean, yeah, maybe, but Queen Mab gave you those worms, right? That's what I heard?
Yes.
And, I mean, listen, I don't deal in Feywild stuff. I've never really had much experience with it, but I've seen some wizards use some teleportation circles or things like that. And you said you saw that once before in the Feywild, right?
Yes.
Was it a portal? Was that the portal you stepped through?
Yes.
Do you think he created another portal?
Yes. Maybe. Should I go get the worms back?
Is this something you can reverse?
I've never tried, but I will try. If you think I should try.
I don't want you to go off into that forest alone at night.
What? Okay. I mean, I have a dog now,
Yes.
so I wouldn't be
We
alone.
got some nice apples out of it. Yeah, but those wasps would kill you.
They were like deeper.
They were literally like right there.
Then we killed those ones. The other ones are deeper.
I mean those honeycombs that we were talking about that went so deep were right
Oh yeah,
there.
I don't know what comes out of those things.
No, you have no idea.
I was gonna ask Otto to burrow into them, but then I thought that was a terrible idea.
Yeah. Don't have him do that. But you wanted to get home, right?
I mean, eventually, I mean,
I mean, that's why you made the deal with Queen Mab, right? You wanted to get home, and she wanted something from you. It's a
yes,
give and take situation.
true.
I mean, so you're home now?
Not really.
No, you're not. That's a good point.
This is definitely not my home.
You're definitely closer than you were before. You're not on a different plane, right? Cristobal said the Feywild is a whole other plane of existence.
It's true.
And you'd been in the Feywild
Who knows?
100 years, 5 years, could have been a very long time.
Yeah, or maybe just 5 minutes.
So it's hard for you to know exactly what you've done.
Yeah. I just pretty much made friends with rocks.
I mean, I see that you're concerned, and I think you should be. But also, yeah, I mean, going to check it out, seeing if you can reverse it.
Should I tell the others?
Tell them what? Did you want to reverse it?
That I opened a portal?
I think they know.
People know?
Oh, well, I mean, maybe we don't really know it's a portal, but we all saw what happened.
This forest is so loud.
It is. It's the buzzing.
Well, all right.
Cristobal?
Otto, who has been studying for probably like 10 minutes, right?
Are we done yet?
Don't doodle. Please don't doodle.
Okay.
Don't doodle.
Put the cat back on.
Those are ancient texts.
So you've been studying magic for a really long time. Forever, your whole life, right?
Since I was able to read.
Cool. What do you know what it means if you see
And you're sleeping. Echo's gone. It's just us in the room, right?
Probably some Arsaka or somebody, but yeah.
what does it mean when you keep seeing somebody follow you?
Like someone you know? Or knew?
Well,
Like a ghost?
no. Someone that when you go to sleep, sometimes they greet you and everything's on fire. Does that mean something to you?
Well, what does it mean to you? This person that you see.
It's not a person. And I don't think it's a god.
What do they look like?
Well, they're very big, much bigger than me. Their face, it changes in expressions, but they're horrifying expressions. And it glows, but it is black.
That sounds truly terrifying.
Does that mean anything to you? Have you, in any of these books, found anything about things that follow you, even when they're not there?
Do I know of any creatures that...
Roll Arcana.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult, though. I'm going to say it's at disadvantage.
Sure, why not?
Does he have an advantage?
He does not. He's a straight roll as far as I know.
Ooh! Ooh!
Did you roll disadvantage?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, wow, nice.
So, 18.
Wow, at disadvantage.
Yeah.
There are a couple of things that do that. Possession, there are various types of undead that can possess and can cause nightmares while you're sleeping. There's various forms of devils and demons that can do as such.
The one thing that kind of sticks out to you is she said a blackness that glows. And you remember the retelling of their visions, how there was a black tar that burst into flame.
Okay.
So the only way that it would make any sense for you to kind of Sherlock Holmes your way back from what she's saying and what you already know is the very finite list of creatures or beings that would have the innate ability of wreathing themselves in hellfire.
Wow. Okay.
Which is a short list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even do I even know? Like, I know of them, but do I?
You know of hellfire,
right? But I don't know like specific. Okay.
He didn't spend a lot of time studying
right
demons and devils.
No, I had to work on my shirts.
Especially the short list that indicate this thing.
Fashion.
So
many things to keep up with.
I just want to say, I think Adam only rolls well out of combat.
Yep.
Like history checks, arcana checks, nails them, all of them.
And it makes a lot of sense.
And the dungeon masters appreciate it.
So, I don't want to say that I know exactly what this thing that might be affecting you is.
Oh, I didn't say it was affecting me. I just said I was.
That is.
Yeah, I just wanted to
that
know
you're
about
experiencing.
it.
That you're experiencing.
Sure.
But what does sound familiar, that darkness, that glowing darkness, did it remind you at all of the hellfire we experienced while we were on the lake?
I didn't really think about it at the time, but maybe.
And when did you start having these dreams?
Okay, so, it's obvious that, you know, it's me I'm talking about.
Asking for a friend.
So,
I picked up on that.
I haven't told anybody else about this. So I've, right before I left, before I came here, and now, every time I go to sleep, almost every time, I have really terrible nightmares. And it's so scary. I have never been more afraid of anything in my entire life. I know it's bad. And it's coming.
I'm not going to tell you that everything will be okay, but what I will say is I will help you try and find out what this thing is that is afflicting you.
Okay.
And maybe the more we know, the more knowledge we gain, maybe we can find a way to help, or at least be ready for this thing that you believe is coming for you.
That's why I want to learn magic. I want to be ready. Could you not tell anybody I told you this?
Of course.
Thank you.
What do you think Queen Mab wants?
Well, she wanted to leave the Feywild. She wanted to explore.
But like bigger than that. Is she like a power grabber? Is she, you know, just someone who likes freedom to go places?
I don't know. She was very pushy, though. She made me feel weird.
Queens can do that,
Oh, yeah.
right? It's in the name.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was worth it to you to get back here. I mean, not here exactly. To do what she asked.
Yeah, also, I think I got caught up in the game. We were playing this weird word game. And it just sort of happened.
Sounds like a fairy tale.
Well, it's Feywild.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go give my cape to Saint. She seemed really upset.
Yeah, she did.
You wanna get some rest?
Yeah, that's probably for best.
Okay, also, I'm not positive that other people know that that was a portal, and I am not going to say anything, so maybe you don't either.
Okay.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
KoKo goes into the shelter, takes her cloak off. It's on Saint.
I see you do that, and as I'm like, if you want to make her feel better, you may want to try and use this, and I hand you the needle.
Oh.
Some of her clothing is not situated for the winter. And when you use that, it teaches you how to sew and allows you to transform materials into other materials.
I thought it would just do that because you were holding it, but I get to be magic too?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Maybe
I'm so
if
glad
you-
I barely have to sleep.
Maybe if you take your cloak, you can turn it into something she can wear.
Oh, that's a great idea. Okay. Sorry, Saint, I'm gonna take this back.
Have you looked at the gauntlet or anything? Because we found that in the workshop with that.
I'm
right?
reading the instruction manual now.
Amazing.
I'm on like page 3.
I have a really hard time sleeping through this like, extended conversations that are happening right
You're
now.
very tired now.
Like if you guys are all still up talking for like
But you were
a good
very
hour.
upset.
Sure, yeah.
She's probably not sleeping then. She probably has.
Then you definitely
an eye
felt the
open.
echo there, kind of.
Yeah.
Not touching, not staring, just sort of being present next to you for a while.
Yeah, I'm
Until-
probably hearing all of this if it's like ongoing conversation for
But
a
we
while.
were outside
We
of
yes,
the shelter.
yeah. Otto and Cristobal were
Yeah,
right near.
but now you're coming back in and having more conversations. So
Yeah.
she's probably like, all right.
She's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, these
I
people
was
shut
gonna switch
up.
out and then go to sleep.
So,
Yeah.
Cristobal and Otto can both roll Arcana.
Big rolls, big rolls.
Any advantage or disadvantage?
Nope.
Straight rolls.
Yikes. 8.
Okay.
That is
Did you not
a
get the memo? We're not in
6.
battle.
8 and a 6.
You're still shuffling through all the different papers and trying to organize it and what have you.
You're like, I can read.
Yeah.
The very beginning of this book is step-by-step instructions on how to have someone else assist you in chopping off your own hand. That's how far you get before you close the book
Okay, we're gonna
and take a
We're going to read this later.
Just some light nighttime reading.
What did you
It's like a dark mage
So
hand spell.
the gauntlet, if you remember, is not
not
hollow.
correct.
It's solid metal.
I was worried that's what it would mean.
So the very beginning of this tome, and it's pounded out sheets of metal, mainly in archonic language, but there's also some Dwarven mixed in, which you know Dwarven, right? Do you? Does Cristobal know Dwarven?
No, Dwarven, I do not know Dwarven.
Oh, okay.
I think KoKo knows
You do have
Dwarven.
comprehend language.
Even
I do
better.
have comprehend language.
Yeah.
Oh, fine.
Even
whatever.
better.
I won't help you.
Bits and pieces of it are.
All right, I cast comprehend languages, and then I read the book.
I don't know.
But yeah, the beginning of it is you cannot complete this ritual on your own. You will need another person to assist you because you will be concentrating on casting spells with one hand while the other person is chopping off your hand and placing the gauntlet where your stump is.
Some of the instructions include also how to prevent yourself from passing out.
Yeah.
Very pain ways to mitigate pain.
Yeah.
In all in
Friends
trying to get
standing
this
by
done.
with cure wounds.
Yeah. In fact, it's written as if priests are just there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because the person that wrote it had priests.
Just there?
Handy, yeah.
Otto, while you're looking through all these pieces of paper and start and stops of books that Cristobal has attempted to mend, one particular page you seem to fall out, and your owl eyes sort of grab note.
This is aside. This is separate from you trying to learn the magic that's in those pages.
Okay.
This is a separate, sheet of
separate,
paper.
like a-
yeah.
Do your owl eyes know how to read cursive?
Yeah, we only write cursive.
Good detail about it.
Yeah, owls
Only write
love
cursive.
I guess that's canon.
Write it down.
Takes a moment, reads it, is confused by it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a lot going on with that, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't. It's fine if you want to save it for now.
Yeah, Otto notes that it's important,
Or we can read it if you want us to read it.
Yeah.
And it'll just be like the voice inside your head as you're
Yeah,
looking.
do you want to read it?
We get to hear
My
it?
time?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Wow.
This part too?
This was in the
Yeah.
book?
Okay.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
in one of the books?
'Tis the year of the hidden dragon, 936. By my estimates, 300 years or so after the fall. My dear old companion, Corgan Cognizant. I'm sure you would ask why you would do it, Reinhold. Why did you attempt to merge two worlds that are catastrophically different, and in fact impossible to combine? Well, I'll tell you, my old friend, it's the same reason why anyone attempts to do anything with the short time they have. Death. It is, after all, life's most prolific motivational tool. I truly think that invention and the exploration of creation is the most pertinent task in front of us as sentient creatures. And I unfortunately see my precious time coming to a swift end. Queen Skadi and her savage frost giant warriors have declared a blood war on myself as well as my people. I suspect it is not entirely her fault, as she has believed the lies dripped into her ear from an unknown nefarious entity. So, accepting this plight, I have decided to use what time I have left by dedicating myself wholly to the merging of these two dangerous ideals. I fully realize that this might anger a few of the gods. I'm also willing to admit freely that this could possibly disrupt the balance of nature itself. However, seeing as how the end of everything I cherish is being wiped away, I consider this my final effort to navigate two spheres of influence and create a new age of enlightenment. If someone or something does find this letter and has the wits and the wherewithal to accomplish what I've begun, then perhaps it will do some good. May our souls travel their way back to the great forge in the sky. Truly yours, Reinhold the Kind.
So 300 years after the what was the term?
The fall.
The fall.
And if you remember, Reinhold was the head astral dwarf at the tower that sunk into the lake, into Brudevik.
Otto does not know what to do with that information yet, but is studying it, and not only the letter, the contents of the letter, what it means, but also it's kind of a Kenkui thing, but I think like birds are interested in like the way things are made, the way things are written. So like the handwriting, if it's in haste, if it was how old the letter is, all of like just like the little minutia about the letter, Otto's very interested in because it is like a time capsule as much as it is information.
Well, I am going to sleep now. That's a lot for my brain.
What did you learn? 3 things.
Okay, first thing. The fall happened 300 years ago. And that the astral dwarves believe that their afterlife is a great forge in the sky, so they're even working in death.
They are creating, yes.
Yes. And also, I've learned that people, like, their unfinished business becomes our business a lot of the times, you know? So when...
That's real.
Yep. That is very astute. You will make an excellent student.
Thank you. And I'm just gonna,
And I'm gonna kind of nestle up by, where are you sitting? How are you sitting?
I imagine, because you described there were a bunch of cots, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of imagine that we were kind of sitting across from each other on cots.
Mhm.
So I'm just sitting on one, talking to you, handing papers back and forth. So
Cool. I'm gonna take, so if there are lines of cot, Otto walks to the cot that's nearest to you, so like on your side, so not across, moves whoever's stuff is on that cot.
KoKo's.
Moves KoKo's
Picks up
stuff.
Slushie.
Stuff, puts it on the cot that I was on,
and kind of gets their blanket and kind of puffs up and goes,
"Good night, Cristobal."
Good night, Otto.
And then falls asleep.
Cristobal will take his mirror out from the from his bag. He will turn his face to one side, comb his facial hair, and say quietly to the mirror, "For tomorrow, there will be progress." And then to the other side, and he'll be combing his facial hair here. "And tomorrow, there will be rebuilding." And then he puts the mirror away. He gets underneath whatever blanket is there, and he also goes to sleep.
Great.
And KoKo kind of passed out while sewing, and Slushie snuggled up against me.
Technically, Slushie's still outside because
No,
you
I
had him
brought-
go
I
on.
brought Slushie
He did
back.
not say that. Slushie is a thinking individual who has his own.
Okay, then KoKo's in bed. Wait, shh.
Yeah, there's a little scratching at the door.
Slushy! I'm over here.
Let the dog in.
I'm not on the cot that we were on before. I'm
Scratch
on
at
this
the door.
other one.
There's a scratch.
Goes let's. I thought it was a tent.
Yeah,
Thank goodness
it,
you only
it,
need
it
to
has a
sleep
door.
4
It has
hours.
a door with described
Okay.
metal pieces that Drac created.
Okay.
And as you open the door and let him in, he goes, "I found so many nothing outside." And then what? And goes in. It was not that great. And he goes and does a little circle and lays down and then quickly falls asleep.
Wonderful.
Are you asleep yet, Val?
I probably lightly.
Okay, because once everybody is asleep, Saint's gonna open one eye.
Oh gosh.
And she's gonna try to sneak the fruitcake into KoKo's outfit.
Wow. Gold. Well, you definitely had advantage because KoKo's in a trance.
Yeah, you sure do.
And KoKo, you're at disadvantage because you're in a trance.
Saint's probably gonna need
I
it.
don't remember what the fruitcake
It's just a
meant.
perception.
Just
She's
a-
trying to put
It's
it in
just,
your bag.
yeah, I'm just trying to. I get
At
extra.
disadvantage.
You keep hit points, just like
And
Temporary hit points, yeah.
you just keep them until I use them, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and you're both straight roll as far as
Okay.
I'm concerned, outside of what.
Well, normally temporary hit points would
Disadvantage.
She
She rolled a nat 20.
Oh,
20.
5.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Rolled a natural 1 and a 5.
I rolled a nat 20. And a 15 plus 5.
Oh, I'm just dreaming. Just dreaming. Fruitcake. Good night.
Takes the fruitcake back, goes back to sleep.
KoKo's gonna be tough.
That's funny.
Yeah. Okay, I have the fruitcake for another day.
You're supposed to be able to tell, right?
That's right.
That's how that
Yeah,
happens.
if you catch them, then they can't
Okay.
give it to you.
Yeah.
They're trying to sneak it into your bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, KoKo thinks that probably you didn't mean to do that. You were sleepwalking.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
KoKo's
You
like,
believe
"No, no,
me. Yeah.
Sleep smuggling. Sleep smuggling fruitcake.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put
Well,
this
I
back.
think we're going to go to intermission here, but don't go away because when we come back from intermission, since everyone is asleep, we're going to have a secret room with you, the watchers, that for whatever bizarre reason, Otto gets to see.
Yes.
Me.
Big night for Bird Boy.
Gonna be
Bird
intense.
boy. There we are again.
So don't go away. We'll see you in 15.
Bye.
Bye.
You can borrow the power of a god and influence the journey of our adventurers. Join forces with other watchers to drop a force of nature or a force of cosmos into our world. A trap, an advantage, a monstrous predator, or a portal to another dimension, where everyone is a talking sock hand? Force cards are unlocked level by level, each one increasing in power. You may dip your toe in godhood by purchasing a seed of nature or a spark of cosmos that will increase your force's strength. Or you may harness even greater power and purchase a mote of nature or a mote of cosmos and propel your force even faster to the next highest tier. Should you choose to affect the story of our adventurers, you can do so by using our custom extension to choose which side you're on, and maybe even help or hinder the player's dice rolls with an advantage or disadvantage while you're there. Use your powers wisely, Watchers.
Welcome, Watchers. You drift away inside of a deep, dark space, almost like a void. There's really no sound at first. There's no light, just shadow. And then suddenly a table emerges, sturdy, possibly oak, much like this table that we have here in front of us. And there are two figures sitting on either side of that table. Both of them have meals that they've either brought with them or were brought in by their servants. Those two figures are having a polite conversation about the future and about their plans. The first figure sitting across the table.
You see a humanoid with sunken features in its face, almost as if its skin is desiccated and pulled tight across its skeletal frame. Wearing a top hat, a very nice top hat with a red feather that sort of, it looks like an Aarakocra feather if one was familiar with the Animus, and a monocle over one eye made of gold. And you see this individual staring at the food ravenously. It's strange. Their mouth seems to be missing lips, almost as if there are skeleton-style teeth. It's very clear that this individual is very well dressed, wearing some dress blues, seems to carry themselves with a form of self-respect and debonair. And they seem very into food as you begin to see these two individuals.
Yeah. The other individual sitting across the table is tall, strong, thick, dark, green muscles, long, pointy fingers, hair that almost looks like moss or bits and pieces of detritus along a forest floor. Long, hooked nose, thin, red eyes, lips that shrivel up to the point to where it almost looks like they haven't had anything to drink in possibly decades. Like a desiccation, almost. The clothing is savage, barbaric. Hides, cut together pieces of skin and flesh. Some still have hair clinging to them. She is dining on this meal with a meticulous, passionate, fervent lust that does not seem to be satiated regardless of how many bites she eats. And she stares at the figure across the table from her in anticipation. Do you like it?
First, I must say that this is the best food that I have had in quite a long time.
Do you know what it is?
Oh, let me guess. I believe this one is a Ramhidi male, aged probably 24, maybe 25 years.
Close.
22.
Yes.
Yes.
Very good. I knew you'd find it.
Yes. I do appreciate the invite, Grimora. As my patron, I find that I must answer your summons. I
Must?
do. Excuse me, I apologize, milady. I mean that I enjoy answering your summons.
Better.
I find them delightful. You always have such delicious meals. In fact, is this Minotaur blood wine?
It is. Fresh.
And sweet.
Yes.
So sweet.
Do you know why?
I don't.
Because she was young.
They do ever taste so much better when they're young.
I think so.
Excuse me. I've found some of my own recent...
Why are you wasting my delicious food with your bee honey?
Because it gives me power, Grimora. You know this. Oh,
your obsession with those bees. Better?
No, but different. This is entirely delicious, and I can't say that I could make it better. It is not to improve the food that you offer, Grimora. It is only to make it different. Now, I do wonder why you bring me here with such haste. Everything seems to be going so well.
Is it?
It is on my side.
Well, on my side, it is not.
Oh. Well, I apologize. Is there something that I could do to help?
Yes, you can finish the task that I gave you in return.
Well, Grimoire, we've had this conversation numerous times. I am taking my time. It makes no sense for us to move forward before we know what we're dealing with.
What is taking so long?
Well, the technology that I have found is difficult and complex. It is not always clear exactly how things work. And as I combine them, I'm learning newer and better things. I've already discovered a way to bring back all of our kind. I just need time.
All of them?
Yes, I happened upon a graveyard in the dark wood, and I have used its resources. As you know, I am a druid of some from past days, and so have some knowledge of how nature works, and I've been able to find avenues of new technology to merge them together and siphon souls. It's rather ingenious, if you ask me.
Well, don't get so full of yourself. I have sent many of my hirelings into the labyrinth, and none have returned. I need that spine. And I gave you a piece to finish your goal. And it's taken far too long.
It is taking some time, I know this. You know that technology requires time, Grimora. Look, I don't think these so-called Stormborn that have entered the Darkwood are much of a problem, to be honest. They don't even seem to be working with the Osaka. They seem to just sort of be flailing about. I think we should take advantage of that time and give it time.
How much time?
Oh, a couple of years would suffice.
Years?
Well, it's...
I have already waited far too long. I need the spine to continue my ritual. You said it would take months. You said the Osaka were weak. You said the Ramhidi would fall and we would feast on their flesh. Did you not?
We are, Grimora. We are. We take the ones that we...
Yes, the ones that wander away. Yes, I know, but I want the whole herd.
Grimora, I worry that if we push our luck here, we will run out of Ramhidi to eat. They don't procreate very fast.
We will move on to the next course. Did I tell you what this was?
No, I haven't even tried it yet. Please, before you do, let me try it. Let me try.
It's ground up.
Oh.
And I added some spices to it.
Is this Canusk liver pate?
Well, there's a little liver and some bone marrow mixed in. But yes, you're right, it is Canusk.
It is quite delicious. It's got a... tangy flavor I did not expect.
Those are the herbs.
Oh, that makes sense. Well, Grimora,
Wash it down with some of the Minotaur blood.
Yes, Grimora.
I will give you a few more weeks. That is all you can have. But when that time is up, I expect you to return.
Fine, and if I can't find the solution to our dead compatriots, bringing them back to the land of the living, do you prefer that I abandon my pursuits to help you?
Why can't you just trap their souls into something? Something of use. Bring them here. We are more powerful combined. If these Stormborn find out where we are, they will be a thorn in our side. And they can pick us apart one by one. But together, they are no match.
Do you really think Thasha and Bahatha care that much? I mean, Bahatha does. She sent her Hunolo, and I handled it.
Don't say their names.
Sorry. The Storm one and the one with horns. Do you believe that they have the power to interrupt our plans? I don't think they do.
As soon as they find out what we're planning, you know they're going to at least try.
I have seen their attempts of the Stormborn, and I can tell you, it is laughable.
Do tell.
One of them is constantly blustering about his family, and I miss my family, I miss them, I don't want to be here, my family. One of them cannot understand why they cannot reach their god. I told you that would come in handy.
You were right. You were right.
There is one that I do worry about.
Which one?
The one they call Cristobal. He seems smarter than he lets on.
So?
He's arcane.
From the South Island?
Indeed.
There shouldn't be any South Islanders here.
I understand there seems to be two of them that are.
Two?
Indeed. The one who's worried about his family and goes on about it seems to come from the Tri-Cities.
I see. And they know magic, both of them?
Well, I haven't really seen them with my own eyes, but my minions tell me that yes, they are all capable of magic of some sort.
I see.
You know,
complicates things.
It does. They killed Ruffy.
Ruffy?
Yes, my large husk best friend. They destroyed him. He popped like a pimple.
Oh, you mean your creations, your disgusting abominations.
They're my friends.
Sure they are. Sure they are.
Well, they used to be my friends.
You can always make more, Nagrok.
I guess you're right. I shall do as you say, madam. I shall take these Stormborn out of the equation. Give me a few weeks, and I will do so, and then I shall return to you in the valley to help with the Minotaurs. Is there any other thing that you would like me to do while I'm doing so?
Yes. If you can find out more information about this Cristobal. He was not foretold. He was not part of the original plan.
Yes.
So it appears there are some other factors at work.
I would agree with that assessment. It appears that there are other gods in play that we did not anticipate.
Yes, and that is what makes me worry. The other gods.
Yes. I will do as you ask.
Good. I have suddenly lost my appetite.
Oh, Grimora.
You know what? I shall call upon my favorite minion, the one that still stands. He will give us a report. If for no other reason, it will prove to us that what we've been doing is working. Yes?
Bring on the minion!
Very well. And the figure fades. Her green, angular features fold back into the shadows. And coming forth is a small, little, impish creature with a scorpion-like tail, bat wings, and a mouth filled with razor-sharp teeth.
Otto, as you witness this nightmare that you're in, and you see this little impish creature, your burn tingles and begins to itch. You have a report, I'm told?
Yes, yes, yes I do. And I shall show you. He unravels the scroll and begins to read. Mad wolves in the valley, scared sheep in the mountains, silver needles stripped and dipped in cloth fountains, a wingless flight to roost somewhere steeped, unstripped, untangled, unbuckled, unleashed. Owl in the storm did not fly, but creaked. The caw of crow cried out, then ripped. The moon-child born from silent silvery sphere, reflection of sunken vessel made ever so clear. Bright twinkling blackness, a blue puff of smoke. Dead dwell beneath sick groves of elm and oak.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Moist smell of dirt. Worms trail leads to her. Its dewy libation sips sweeter than myrrh. A skull to put out the stench of the loam for the poor long-forgotten heroes of foe. The noise of a sled that cuts through the gloam on the last run across the powdered way home. My keen eyes, this witnessed, then gone in a blur. Might I feast on a bite of the flesh and the fur?
Get your own, minion.
And he grabs the little bowl that's sitting in front of him and runs away. But before he runs away, he begins to transform. And his figure changes. Smoke billows up. Heat begins to rise. All the other figures fade into the shadows. The figure standing there is wreathed in flame, both red and black. Covered from neck to wrist to ankle in black obsidian armor. Its eyes burn with such intense heat that they are impossible to
to look upon unless you're a god or an extremely powerful being. The armored figure rises up out of this little teeny imp. The imp splits, crackles, and burns and screams out in pain as this monstrous, muscular Myrmidon, covered in armor and scars and hands breathed in fire, speaks.
And as it was moving away, it stops, transforms into this large obsidian Myrmidon, and stops and turns to look at Otto.
I see you. I see you. There is one here.
Who? And then the green-skinned one comes back forward. Who?
The Owlin.
The one you mocked.
Yes. And Otto, as it says and is looking towards you, your wound, as if it's aflame again, burning and sensation, to the point you cannot stop yourself from screaming. And the Myrmidon looks at the green-skinned one and says,
"It is because I have connection. We must go."
Yes. White. What did it hear?
Everything.
Then it must die.
As you say, lady.
And it disappears into a very large, as if a fire is being put out, plume of smoke.
And the food vanishes. The table cracks, breaks, and goes to the floor, bursting into flames. And everything goes back to shadow once again.
Leaving only Otto curled up in a ball, grasping his wound in pain. And that is the end of the secret room.
So, we're back. Most of you sleep just fine. Your trance goes completely fine. I would say
Thank you.
About late into the night, almost because it was late that night when you actually went to sleep, since you all talked and debated for so long. Almost morning of the next day is when you come out of your nightmare. And when you come out of your nightmare, your arm is in excruciating pain. It burns just like it burned the first time.
And when you look down at your skin, it looks like it has burned as if it was burned the first time.
Okay. So Otto wakes up.
What's happening?
What's
all right.
happened?
What happened?
Your arm.
It hurts so bad.
What happened? Why did you burn yourself?
I'm looking around.
Did somebody leave a torch on?
Did you see if
You're
you closed the fire?
you're all inside of the tent. Anybody that slept inside of the tent, you're in there when she snaps up. But there's no one else in there. I don't think even Drek would be in there.
Drek is in there.
Oh, he is?
Yeah,
Okay.
because he fell asleep.
Okay.
But that he wakes up. Your screaming wakes him up as well, and he seems.
Otto, what
They
happened?
saw me. They saw me.
Who saw you?
Those very, 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 very bad people. They
They were here?
just
They were
breathe.
here in the cabin?
Oh, I went to them.
A vision?
No, it was a nightmare. A terrible, terrible nightmare. They saw me.
Where were you?
You notice that Otto is absent-mindedly clutching the skull. Like, not even thinking about it. He has the skull tucked underneath one arm
As he's grabbing the
as
other.
he's grabbing this arm. He's balled up.
Yeah, I'm balled up.
Where were you?
I was at dinner.
Okay. And there were bad people at dinner with you?
A man and a woman.
Okay. And were they human?
No.
What were they?
I don't know.
Okay.
Describe them if you can.
Gods, demons, monsters.
Giants.
Not giants.
Dwarves?
No, not dwarves. Something else. Old, very old. One of them, a woman, she looked of the earth. The man, he looked skeletal. And, they were eating Ramhidi.
Oh. Wow.
And they were talking about their plan. And Cristobal, you're new, and so you're out of the plan, which is good for us.
Okay.
And I think they were eating a meal of the world, of the things that are bad, that went bad.
So they're good?
The Ramhidi went bad?
Oh, I'm being so confusing. The Ramhidi were meals. They were eating them and drinking Minotaur blood, and
So did the Ramhidi go bad?
no, these people were bad.
Oh.
Why do you think they were bad?
Well, they're not aligned with Bahatha.
They didn't seem to care that they were eating.
They were enjoying their meal. They were having a very nice dinner.
But it was people.
Basically.
Did they know you were there?
There was so I don't know where is safe to talk about this, but yeah, I mean they caught me because of
You said they saw you. You said they could see you.
I have a nightmare.
All right.
And it follows me. And the nightmare looked back at me and pulled me from my hiding place and then pushed me here to being awake. And now my arm's on fire.
Here, I'll try to bandage it up.
I mean, it looks to you like she just suffered a very severe, or he suffered a very severe burn.
Let me heal you. And Saint casts Cure Wounds.
The wound, Saint, as you are healing this wound, it begins to soothe and sort of become that normal skin look, but it reverts back to his very severe charred arm.
I don't think that this is something you can fix.
I'm sorry, I forgot. How did you say you were burned again, initially?
Did they do this to you, the man and the woman?
Where did the first burn come from?
It was a firestorm. Underground.
From when you arrived here?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you experience that again?
Oh.
Just now?
Yes. But there's more to that. I haven't been completely honest with any of you. There is a man entity presence in Obsidian who burned me, and I see them when I fall asleep, and I'm connected to them, and they can see me. So I don't even know if it's safe that I'm saying any of this because I don't know if he's watching.
So it's a patron who has not had an exchange of power with you.
Is not a patron. I do not accept its power.
You said it's in obsidian. It gets its power, it exists in that rock.
I don't know.
Okay.
I just know that it wears it, and obsidian is very important to me and my people.
All right.
And I am sworn to protect it.
I remember when we were fighting the frost giants. Don't you remember this? The spear head was made of
the gnolls, yeah.
Oh, the gnolls.
Yeah. So it's important. It's important to the owls, to the owlins. But you seem to have found something bad in it, to put it very simply.
Well, obsidian in itself isn't bad.
Right, it's just a rock.
No, it's more than just a rock. It's a magical conduit. It channels things. There are things below the surface.
All right. How does this connect to the two people from this vision? They saw you through the burn? That's how you got the burn? Are they connected to this creature in the obsidian?
Yes, but there's scarier things than this. There's scarier things than this burn. They talked about bringing their kind back, and I don't know what that means, but I don't like it, and I don't want it to happen.
Do you think that there was any connection with the fungi that you saw?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
You said she seemed like she was of the earth.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Nature of some kind, yeah? And he seems skeletal. Okay,
But she seemed in charge.
okay. Those are good
What did
bits
her
of
hair-
information.
What did her hair look like?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Oluvar saw your burn the first time we met him. We can ask him about this. What is the connection to this burn of yours?
I don't want to tell anybody else about my burn. If that's okay.
Sure.
I didn't even want to tell you, but I think that by not telling you, I think that it put us in danger. So,
Thank you for telling us.
Well, then you've already told Oluvar, right? So that wouldn't be someone else if you were to speak to them again.
And did Oluvar heal? No, not before.
No, just saw the scar.
But we have to help the Ramhidi. We have to figure out what's happening, because if we don't, then they get what they want. Again, I don't know what their deal is, but I don't want them to get what they want.
They're trying to consume all of the Ramhidi. That's why we need to help them? What do you mean?
Well,
They're trying to consume everything.
after the Ramhidi, who's next?
So first they're trying to consume all of the Ramhidi, which is why you want us to help them. Is that right?
Maybe. I'm not sure. Yes?
It is okay not to know.
I don't know.
It is okay. You have told us much, and maybe we do not know exactly what all of this means, but each new piece of information will lead us closer, yes? It will prepare us for whatever may come.
And they knew you were there. They saw you, they spoke to you.
Not at first. But then they saw me.
And what did they seemed kind of bragging?
They want to kill me.
Because you are a witness to their plan.
They want to kill all of us.
All of the Animus or everyone?
Stormborn.
Specifically us. Except for you.
No.
I said I was part of it.
Did you not say that they don't know about him? They don't know about you.
They don't know about me?
secret weapon.
Never been a secret weapon.
Well,
Okay.
can I ask a clarifying question here? You have the magic that you have. That was something that you had before you started having this nightmare, or not? After.
Yes.
So you did not make a consensual deal, it seems, but
But I didn't make a deal with anyone.
it seems as though there has been an exchange.
Well, we don't know that.
They gave you magic. Is that what magical ability?
I just think it's quite the coincidence that you have this extraordinary power and also a nightmare. I mean, that sounds a lot like what's happening with me, but of course, much more dark.
When was the first time you saw the man in obsidian?
Before I met you guys.
Like right before?
Like, kinda, yeah.
Okay.
Like before you were teleported here?
Yeah, well, I made some friends, and then those friends were incinerated.
Roll a wisdom save.
You said save?
Yep.
Wisdom save, okay. That is 17.
Okay. For just the briefest of moments, you see Snack and Rock sitting on a cot on the opposite end of the room, and they just look at you, pleading, and then they're gone.
Yep, that's what I remember.
And there was a fire, and you were burned.
You made friends right before the firestorm, and they were incinerated in the firestorm?
We're all trying to get away.
Were they...
I don't know much about them. They're new friends.
New friends? How so? They weren't part of your Owlin family?
No, I've said a lot of stuff, and I don't know how much more stuff I could say that I feel comfortable saying.
Okay.
Does
Okay.
the skeletal man or the woman of the earth ring any bells to either Cristobal or
Yeah, same. I want to roll some kind of
Or the
origin
woman,
check.
the earth lady?
Not even gonna give you a roll.
Nope.
Yeah.
Blank.
It's the big no.
Big old blank.
You need a lot more information
Sure.
to be able to make a roll on that.
Sure. Okay. Val listens, hears Otto, and kind of steps up and looks for Oluvar if Oluvar's around.
Sure. I mean, you can go outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know the Ramhidi don't sleep indoors.
Right.
Yeah. So you step outside, and I'm sorry. Is everybody going, or is it just a Val thing?
So you're gonna go talk to Ramhidi?
I was going to bring Oluvar here.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Back to us.
hang out on
Are
my
you-
cot.
While you're doing that,
As long as you announce that, then
Yes,
we'll wait for
I'll
you.
say
Yeah.
like I'm gonna.
Yeah.
We need to talk to Oluvar about this.
I'm fitting her in her new clothes.
Great. Perfect.
Drek, sort of now that has heard Otto and what's going on, sort of lays back down on the cot and then looks over at Otto and says, "You are brave," and then passes out.
Oh, he's still hurt? He didn't heal?
So it's right. It's right in the early morning, right? We haven't.
Wasn't he in death saves? Like he got hurt.
He
real
was.
bad. Okay.
Wait, is that why he didn't heal after rest?
Yeah,
Rest
I mean,
isn't
it's
done yet.
Yeah, especially if it gets really bad. Like if your death gets really bad and you go into death saves, it takes longer to heal than normal, than just overnight.
Oh, Drek.
Anyways, Val, you step outside and you notice the sun is starting to crest, but those dark clouds have pushed in. And even though the sun is coming up, the clouds are blocking a lot of those rays of sunlight. You just see like one or two stray rays. And where one of those rays of sunlight hit, Oluvar is sitting there cross-legged with his hands open like this, leading a prayer. And all of the Ramhidi that are left are surrounding him, and they're all praying at the same time, letting out these low, dolorous tones.
Use that word again.
That's a vocabulary word.
Nailed the
So you hear
pronunciation.
this children, women, male Ramhidi, and Oluvar is just mumbling these prayers. You can tell this is like their morning ritual.
You can also see Freda seems to be sitting similar to Oluvar, but in front of the great tree that sprouts the mushrooms, the druidic tree, and she seems to also be in a similar.
Val realizes that this is pretty much probably like what he came here to do, so he's not going to interrupt that, and he's going to go back inside.
You notice that where the light hits the ground, you can actually see little sprouts starting to pop up.
Awesome.
But it's real sparse.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Ramhidi chanting, there's the ritual I think that they were doing when we first arrived, when the wasps came out the first time. I think that they're restarting it, so I can't really bother him right now. But
We should eat. Have you eaten? We should eat.
Yeah. Are we fully rested, or do we need do we still think we need a
You got a
couple
long
more
rest.
hours? Okay,
Yeah,
great.
long rest.
Yes, okay. Yeah.
Great job, everybody.
Is there that communal pot of
Yeah,
food?
it seems that their Arsaka that are in the hut are in the process of making it, but it seems almost ready. And as you approach, one of them sort of indicates to you, "It'll be ready soon. It'll be ready soon."
Saint, they made this for you. Hands
Oh,
Saint.
wow.
Some, well, you already have a muff, right?
Yeah. Oh, I think I gave it to you or something.
Muff was not a great muff.
I made you some sleeves that have like furry kind of texture on them.
Goes perfectly with my off-the-shoulder ensemble. Thank you so much. You stayed up making this for me. Wow.
My cape's a lot shorter now, but it's okay.
You don't sleep a lot.
No.
You're a light sleeper.
Yeah.
Where, Cristobal, were you able to tell anything from that metal book last night?
I did not get far enough into it to really understand anything.
Well, maybe if we do decide to go into the woods, to go to the dark wood and check on the worms on the way, maybe you can walk and read at the same time.
It is pretty dangerous to do that.
You could get motion sick.
Run into trees.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very heavy.
I don't do a lot of reading, so
I understand.
I wasn't sure if this was something that could happen on the go.
Otto, though, found some interesting information.
Oh?
Yeah.
Do you want to share your 3 facts?
Oh, yes. Oh, I should have wrote them down.
Before Otto shares their 3 facts, I've got a fact to share with everybody, and that's Tepartos has gifted us another seed of nature. Thank you, Tepartos.
Thank you.
If I remember, she learned that the astral dwarves, after they pass on from this world, go on to
The Great Forge in the Sky.
Okay.
Yeah. She learned that he learned that 300 years after the fall.
The letter was written 300 years after the fall.
The fall.
The fall of society, I'm assuming.
Does that
Does the
ring a
fall
bell for
ring a bell?
anybody?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we kind of saw it, right?
The only people that would know that would be the super spiritual folks. So Saint, you can get a religion roll.
Okay.
It's a stretch though, so you're at disadvantage.
And Saint, you're at a straight roll as far as I'm concerned.
Disadvantage. All right. Double 3s for It's a bad night for me.
night.
So
That's
No
3
combat.
3s and a 1.
there's lots of moments in your religious studies that give a term to the fall of something or someone. So it's not that the fall doesn't ring a bell, it's just that there's too many options to kind of narrow it down. But if you had more information, then you could probably figure it out. And 300 years is a clue.
300 years ago was when the islands were separated from each other.
and the storms began.
And the animus were raised.
Correct. But that wasn't the fall.
Well,
No, I mean, it might have been, but we don't really.
I mean, thinking about Lumbra, right? Societies grow and societies fall. Who's to say there wasn't societies when the lands were joined? Separating them surely would have created a fall.
Oh wait, no. The letter where that was. That seems ancient as well. That's very old.
Very old letter.
Because 300 years from the fall, the splitting of the islands is now, pretty much.
Right.
So, the fall, whatever it is,
Is
different fall.
much before.
Well, I didn't follow that.
This letter, which is ancient,
So old,
says
I can't draw on it.
300 years after, references the time that it's 300 years after the fall. 300 years, which that would, if the fall is the island splitting apart, that would mean it was now.
Right, and it's not now.
It's not now
ancient.
because that's a very old letter.
So this has happened multiple times.
Well, just to clarify,
we don't know what the fall is.
That letter is not a 300-year-old letter.
Right.
Because it would have to be
correct
magically enchanted for it to survive that long.
Correct.
Oh,
But
so
the fall, it's not ancient.
It's old. It's not 300 years old.
But the fall, we can assume, came before the splitting of the islands. Is this correct?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
This is still me as a player trying to figure this
Sure.
out. So let's just throw out a random number. If it's not 300 years old, let's call it 50 years old.
Sure.
And they said the fall was 300 years ago.
300 years after the fall.
They wrote this 300 years after the fall.
Correct.
Yes. Which would mean that in that case, in this hypothetical, the fall was 50 years before the islands were split.
For what it's worth, tis the year of the hidden dragon, 936.
Hidden dragon ring any sort of bells?
You two
Yeah.
can roll Arcana.
Oh, wait, Arcana? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a history.
Uh,
Okay. Do I have anything?
Not at disadvantage.
Okay.
Disadvantage.
Anything?
Valcorio, you have advantage from Braba.
Thanks, Braba.
7.
Okay.
So I'm rolling Arcana at
Because I'm sitting
advantage.
next to you. Am I really bad?
Yeah, probably.
16.
Okay. The year of the dragon and your family's history, and in fact, all of the Dragonborn on the South Island can all be tied back to when they were born from dragons.
Right.
So the year of the hidden dragon was named that because there were dragons that revealed themselves to the surface at that time.
Got it.
And up until that time, they were hidden dragons and only known to a few. You only know this because it was sort of beat into you by your father and your father's father and your father's father, because it's very important among the Dragonborn to know where they came from, their family line, their blood.
Okay.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that is when Dragonborn came from dragons that year.
No, that's just the year that the dragons revealed themselves.
Do I know when the year of the hidden dragon was? With a 16?
Well, you hear 936.
936. Okay.
Yeah,
But
that's the year.
So
That's the year then.
Right.
the Dragonborn were in existence in the year of the dragon as well.
Yes.
Okay.
The year, yeah. All right. Yeah, this is all ancient stuff.
Well, it's also clearly written in a very flowy, intellectual style. So whoever wrote this was a scholar.
Right.
And you
Very important.
you discovered Reinhold, or the remains of Reinhold, and all of those clerics in that tower in Brudevik, and you know that Brudevik has been a ruin for quite some time.
It also it talks about the Age of Enlightenment and navigating to spheres of influence, and that's what they were trying to do. Till they died.
The Astral Dwarves, we know we found the skull there.
Yeah.
Was the skull in your vision?
You were holding it really tightly when you woke up.
It's, I didn't even notice. And it's kind of strangely comforting. I don't know.
Insight check.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Advantage, disadvantage, anything?
Valcorio, you got advantage from Braba.
Braba, I hear these are DM bribes. Braba's playing in my game on Sunday. Nope. 6.
Everything that Otto says appears to be 100% true.
Okay.
When I was young and my father would try and teach me, I would start reading a book and I would give up after 5 or 10 pages and say, why am I reading this book? This is only about nothing. And my father would counsel me, patience. There is more in the book. You must keep reading. And once you reach the end, only then do you realize the beginning was important. We don't have all the pieces to this puzzle. I'm not saying we shouldn't dwell on it. Of course, continue to ruminate, but do not lose hope just because we don't know exactly what our vision meant.
We used to do jigsaw puzzles with my mother. Find the corners, find the thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
All right.
I'm gonna like motion everyone to like come very close to me.
They're looking for a spine.
A spine?
They are looking for a spine.
The two eaters.
Yeah, so, we should find it first.
Like detached from a body?
Kind of points to the skull. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Or is it a spine of a book?
Oh my gosh.
Maybe. Can be called spines sometimes too.
Could be a spine of a book.
That's so
A spine can be a lot of things.
Spine can also be topography.
Do we know what you asked the skull when it took your eye?
Are you asking me that?
Yeah, or is that a DM question too? I remember. Morgan remembers, but I don't know if that was an out loud.
No one ever asked me what I asked it, so.
But you weren't like around the other characters?
No, it's not that. It wasn't like spoken out loud.
Right.
Oh, you didn't say it out loud. Okay.
No, if you want to ask me, I will tell you. Type of thing.
All right, so
What did you say to the skull when you lost your
I want to know whose skull it was.
Oh.
and it was in the position and it responded
by taking my eye
defensively.
Well, I mean,
Let's try not to ask the spine anything.
Well, fine.
if the
We
skull,
don't have to ask it anything. We could just find it.
Sure.
we should be nice to the skull, right? I mean, if it were my skull, I wouldn't want to tell anyone who might figure. It was a good question.
No, it was a good question.
Is what I'm not.
But since we have found this letter and we learned that this, do you know this person's name who wrote the letter?
Yes. It is Reinhold the Kind.
Reinhold the Kind?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like a bad fella.
No, he's the Kind.
He's the Kind. He was trying to, you said, combine, what was it?
Two forces?
Two forces?
Two
Two
spheres
spheres
of
of influence. And in his hand we found the skull. Maybe the skull is the result of that attempt.
Two spheres of influence. There's purple light and there's green light. I don't know if you noticed that around
Covering
the
the
eyes.
skull's ears.
Yeah, sometimes when it flashes, there's a purple light, or like when the tree grew, there was a green light.
And would you say, for instance, the two people you saw in your vision could be considered opposite forces? Opposite spheres of influence?
A skeleton
no,
and
similar.
No.
Interesting.
Interesting. All right.
Were there any butt grabs at all in this?
Oh my god, no. But, they might have something to do with your god.
Why?
They might be making sure your god can't talk to you.
Why would you think that?
Because they said it.
They said that?
Kind of.
What?
I mean...
What do you mean?
They were quite excited about it. They kind of talked about all of us a little bit.
Oh my gosh, what did they say about me?
I'm sorry, please, can you please tell me about what they mentioned about Aether?
They didn't mention Aether by name.
What did they call them?
I think they just said you were her god.
They said, do you recall what they said?
I truly don't remember word for word. I just know that they're messing with you. I made a mental note of these F words are messing with Saint's god.
Wow.
Good note.
Wait, did you write any notes down about what they said about me?
I didn't. I'm sorry.
Awkward.
I'm so sorry.
Did they say anything about Slushie?
No, nothing about Slushie.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Don't touch Slushie.
Someone say my name.
Hi.
Okay.
It's okay, baby.
All right.
So, all of you hear the prayers stop, and then almost immediately you hear as the clouds begin to roll in and thunder and lightning strikes across the horizon, creating this echoing effect. At this point, Oluvar begins to step into the tent, and behind him you see all of the Ramhidi are lined up and all of the Ursaka, and behind them you see Freda discussing something with Ursoon and Grenlick. And Grenlick is nodding, and you can see there's something dripping from his claws.
Because last we saw Grenlick, he ran off into the forest.
Yes.
Okay.
More importantly, Ursoon steps into the tent and looks at all of you and says, "Something is coming." Oluvar, thank you. Something is on its way.
Something good?
I don't
Please.
know.
Great.
There is a storm brewing, which is not abnormal. It is quite common in these parts, but there is something along with it. I can sense it. I do not know if it is safe here for all of you.
I don't know if us being here is safe for you. We should go.
Okay.
You mentioned quietly, Val, leans over to Otto. You said those things. Said they called us the Stormborn too?
Yeah. Sorry, that was
Mine is Cristobal. Mine is Cristobal, right?
Mine is Cristobal.
Yeah, but
I guess that's confirmation.
What will you do? Are you leaving?
Well, I'm afraid I made a promise to the Ursaka to help them regrow the woods. And it has already begun. And he
There's
gestures.
sprouts outside, it's beautiful.
And you look outside, and it is beautiful. Where the sun is actually shining, you can see the plant regrowth happening before your very eyes. It's not like it's slow. It's almost as if the plants are returning back to where they were before the disease hit them. But beyond that, especially in the darkness of the woods above the clouds, all of those trees are still either partially sick or way deeper in, totally infected. So it's as if he created a little haven here on this side, and he's slowly growing it back to the center. But it's gonna take him a long, long time to undo the damage that's been done.
Do you know that Oluvar, they're more structures of the astral dwarves deeper into the Darkwood?
I would not be the one to ask that. That would be the Ursaka that would know the Darkwood better than anyone.
You say you think it's not safe for you. You think what's coming is coming for us, or do you think it's coming for you?
I cannot tell exactly, but with the words that I heard you speaking but a day ago, I do not want you to be here when this something comes. You have already done your duty.
I speak just for myself, though we have discussed this. What is causing the distress in the woods is hurting other parts of this island and our island. If this thing that is coming to hurt you is part of that, then we had sought to seek it out anyway. Perhaps for our own selfish reasons. But if you think that this approaching force is dangerous and could be linked to this spreading disease, I would stay to help.
Yeah. So you've changed your minds. He's looking at you.
We haven't reached a decision on anything yet.
Well, you will have to decide soon.
There's a lightning strike near the tent.
Otto is on the cot, kind of pushes themselves kind of to the wall on the cot. They're clutching the skull. They close their eyes, and they attempt to tap into the spheres of influence, and they say,
I'm lost. Can you reveal what's found?
as in, where should we go? Like, what is the direction towards, where does the skull want to go, I guess?
Okay. So you're essentially asking the skull for help and advice.
A little bit, yeah.
Do you say it out loud?
No.
You're closing your eyes, right?
Yeah, my eyes are closed, and I'm clutching the skull. You physically can see that I'm doing something.
Okay, because Saint had a similar idea to do something as well.
Slushie seems to notice that you're in distress and curls up next to you and sort of rubs its fur.
Just a little, like baby. What a baby. Just a neurodivergent therapy dog.
Yeah, therapy dog. I was like, what is that?
Amazing.
So I would propose to do a poll.
Ooh, yeah.
Watchers. Would the skull prefer to stay? Or to go? It's a pretty simple poll. So can we have Gord the Rogue hook us up with that?
I believe, yes.
Okay, we have some time.
We do.
What are the rest of you doing while Otto is doing that?
I'm packing up my stuff.
Okay.
And I would like to go out and investigate.
Okay.
This whatever's coming toward us. Like, I want to go.
Before you step out, as you're packing your things up and walking out, it seems that Drek has been awake since Oluvar entered, and he sits up in the cot. As you exit, he says, Are you leaving?
I think I'm going to. Not forever, I'm just gonna go check it out.
Okay.
It is very dangerous. Perhaps you should go alone to make sure that KoKo comes back in one piece.
He looks down at his clearly very, very maimed arm.
He reaches over and places a hand, because he got a long rest as well.
Yes, he did.
Places a hand on Drek, and you see his wounds
stitch up. His arm seems to pop back into place.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and he looks at Freda and Ursoon, And Grenlick, or soon turns his face from Drek, and Freda looks at him long and gives a simple nod. Grenlick?
Grenlick nods and looks back at Drek.
Yes. If it means spilling blood, I will go.
I don't know. If I was gonna spill blood, I was just gonna go spy.
Oh.
I mean,
I am not one for sneaking about.
I can just do it really fast.
You don't know what you're looking for.
No, but I'm sure when I see something, I'll know it.
Do you even know the direction that it's coming from?
Well, I was gonna ask Oluvar.
I will go with her.
By yourself?
We could bring Slushie.
We will bring.
No, Slushie's too chatty.
Oluvar. If it seems that we truly are this Stormborn, you said that we weren't the first. The Stormborn have existed before, right?
The Stormborn have been called upon in the past, yes. But it has been quite some time.
How do we know when we're done? How do we know the previous Stormborn when the job is done?
You seek finite answers to something that only you can decide. It is not the gods' choice. It is yours.
Val squints his eyes slightly. It was the god's choice to bring me here, but I understand what you're saying.
When Otto was asking the skull what to do, Saint is going to cast Augury as a cleric.
Yeah. Okay.
What's that?
It is a ritual spell that allows me to receive an omen from an otherworldly entity about a course of action that I plan to take.
That'll be interesting.
So I'm going to ritual cast it.
Okay.
I think we have time right now.
Sure.
Which means I don't have to expend a spell slot to do it. And she's going to use the sparrow feather that we found in the tower and use that as part of her ritual. I think that's the only kind of like divining tool that she has at the moment.
Hair?
I should, and apparently my hair is worthy of trade, so that's a great idea.
Flattering.
Yeah, a piece of willow embroidery thread.
So you're supposed to ask the results of a specific course of action that you plan to take within the next 30 minutes. And then the DM, says two, decide, I'm kidding. Possible omens. Wheel for good results, woe for bad results, wheel and woe for both good and bad results, or nothing for results that aren't especially good or bad.
The spell doesn't take into account any possible circumstances that may change the outcome, such as the casting of additional spells or the loss or gain of a companion. If you cast a spell 2 or more times before completing your next long rest, there's a cumulative 25% chance for each casting after the first that you get a random reading.
So I'm going to, if I ask about a plan that something that I plan to do, I can choose to not do that based on the reading, though.
Yeah, it doesn't lock you into your
Okay.
plan.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
whether.
like, if I open this door, is it
Yeah.
going to be good or bad?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so she casts augury, and I guess I'll sing, since I feel like she would sing for that. Which way should I go? Should I go home? Put us in danger across the snow. Where, oh where, oh where are we supposed to go? I'm being drawn to my home where the willows grow. I need to find the ones I love, so tell me,
Is that the direction? Is it the one?
And you drop the feather.
Yeah.
You drop the feather, and as the feather sort of floats down in a circle in a natural way, if you've ever dropped a feather, it sort of floats and spins as it does. You've never cast this spell before, but your general knowledge that you've been gifted indicates to you that a woe indication would be that the point of the feather, the part that comes off of the animal, would point towards you, and a wheel, meaning a good result, would point away from you. As you drop it, that feather lands on I forgot the name of what they call it. Thank you, the quill part of the feather. The hard part that's attached to, that you use as a quill, and lands and stays upright.
Oh no.
And you hear, "It is will, and also whoa!" And there's a lightning strike out from outside, and you hear it. You all hear it, but as that lightning strikes, you hear what sounds like a blood-curdling scream. And then you hear the that seems to echo off the trees surrounding the tent. There's another
Is it the sound of
a snapping of trees limbs as you hear, and you hear everyone seems to start, all the Ursaka and the Ramhidi begin to file out of the tent to hear what is going on, and some of them seem to see what's upon them, and the rain begins to fall in large waves, blocking your vision in this morning as the sun is covered by the rain clouds, and then you see it. A huge carriage carried by souls of animals, ghosts of horses, ghosts of Ursaka, ghosts of Ramhidi, all chained to this carriage, pulling it, and that is the sounds of their hooves as they land on the ground. Although they're not on the ground, it's floating in the sky. The carriage itself is made of steel. Large spears coming out of the back. Do you have it with you?
Yeah.
Oh my
I'll show it to you.
God.
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
We have our poll result too whenever you're ready.
Great. And what's your poll? Let's do the poll result because we're waiting on him. So poll result.
Yeah, by a large majority. Thank you again to our mod Gord the Rogue for doing these polls for us. Stay.
Stay.
You sure about that?
If you're too sure about that. As this thing gets closer and closer, and the wind and the rain, as it gets closer, it starts to reveal this large carriage. Again, large spears coming from its back. What? In front of what looks like a cage stands a 7-foot-tall, entirely made of the green and blue energy that you saw of the souls from the previous wasp incidents. He's entirely made of that. He's got a monocle over his right eye and a top hat with what looks like a feather.
Oh no.
His face appears to be that of a skull. His lips are missing and gone, stretched across his face, and you hear him say, as into the area of Heart Home, and as it does so, small spore sacs seem to fall from underneath as it drives straight through the center.
Get inside!
And as those spore sacs, they also have a secondary explosion that seems to spread out before you can get inside, passing behind you and exploding in air. Everyone make Constitution saving throws.
Oh, can it be wisdom instead?
Octavius, you're at advantage from the dungeon speed run.
Thank you.
Saint, you're at advantage from Kool-Aid.
Oh, thank you, Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid. Valcorio, you are at advantage from Breba.
Thank you, Breba.
Everyone else, straight roll as far as I'm concerned.
What is this? What are we?
Con, saving throw.
19.
21. Pass.
11. Oh, 19.
Pass. 19 pass.
Come on, buddy.
5.
Everyone besides Cristobal is safe, but all the Ramhidi, including Freda and Oluvar, Ursoon, Drek, and Grenlick, are encased in a secondary explosion of this amber goo encases their body and freezes them solid.
He's here.
And that's where we'll end this evening's
Wow.
campaign session.
Whoa.
Yikes.
I'm in goo!
Oh, you're in goo, that's right.
You still have your hand.
Yep.
Yes, you still have your hands.
A good thing, I guess.
So, if it's not very clear, when we come back in next episode, we are starting with a boss fight.
What?
That's right, boss fight.
First big bad
evil guy.
Yeah.
I did have one thing.
It would have been really interesting. I have to say this. It would have been really interesting if did the poll come back?
Yeah, it came back stay.
Okay. If the poll had come back and said, well, I'll save that for.
There is one last thing I do want to say that I forgot to mention. He says, this creature at the top that's with a monocle and a top hat made of this soul energy says, "The Stormborn! I will kill you all! Which one of you is Cristobal?"
He's going after the fellow fancy boy.
And that's it. That's
great.
You're setting us up for spooky season.
Yeah! You got it.
Big old spooky fight.
We had planned this well
before spooky season.
Okay. Well, then you're welcome. We got it just on spooky time.
So, as much of our watchers already know, we like to do a fun little game at the end of our fun little game, where we read off the highest tier Patreon level team members, Team Force of Nature and Team Force of Cosmos. Up first, good job. You need some.
I'm sorry. I haven't ever had this sweet wine before, and it is fantastic. I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I thought it was medicine or
Don't mind
something.
me.
In some cultures it is.
It's Robitussin.
So we play a fun little game where we read off the names of the high-level Patreon tiers in an interesting, unique way, which you get to submit to us. So don't forget to do that. Up first is the Team Force of Nature. This is a submission from Tapartos.
Okay.
And it's reading their names like you're a family in a car headed to Disney.
Cosmos or nature? Sorry?
Force of Nature.
Going to Disneyland?
You're all in a car. You're a family in a car headed to Disney.
Ow, Mom! She kitty scratched me!
Honey, stop fighting back there!
Reba.
What? What?
Could you please take your headphones out and just pay attention to your sister and brother?
Listen, I don't want to be all dim-witted about it, but you're like on my back.
I don't get that reference. I haven't watched TikTok.
Listen, I've just about had it with all of you. I'm a Beaker Par level.
Your mom's at Beaker Par. Do you want your mom at Beaker Par? Do you remember your past decisions the last time she was at Beaker Par level?
I don't even want to be a part of the Gold family.
How dare you say that? No, listen, look at your brother. He's dressed like the Gold family. He's perfect for it.
I have to fend a rill.
Oh, God, but you just fend a rill like 20 minutes ago.
Just drool.
You're so gross.
I've heard, I was told by Goofy that if we get to Disneyland before 3 o'clock, we're all gonna get just jewels. So if we behave ourselves...
There's kitty scratches? There better be kitty scratches.
That's right, just jewels. They're gonna be waiting for us. Ariel and Woody, they're all gonna be waiting for us with just jewels at the gate.
Grandma wakes up in the backseat.
Just Jules?
That's right, Mom.
Just Jules from Woody?
That's right, Woody's gonna give just jewels.
Just Jules from Woody. Okay, good night.
That took a turn.
Have we forgotten to say kitty scratches?
You said kitty scratches.
I started with kitty scratches.
Oh yeah.
You guys said a couple of names a couple of times, but I was into it.
Jump around.
Up next is Team Force of Cosmos. This is a submission by Drew Bonner Music.
Thank you, Drew.
It's old school CD commercial where the song title and the artist float across the screen, advertising the newest compilation of love songs.
That's right.
Oh my god.
We'll be back to your QVC opportunity to purchase those fine china plates in just a moment. First, we have a brand new CD selection that we think you're just going to love. Don't we, Jess?
Yes. There's our first track right there, a brand new bop from Michigan.
The famous rock band Michigan, known for their hits Detroit and I Wish I Were Wisconsin.
Idaho Judd.
Ah, yes. And who could forget that funky soul remix, Idaho Judd?
My heart is a potato because you call me Idaho Judd.
Written by the only funk musician from the Northwest.
Double bake me, mama.
We called him Tater Tots. The good old Tater Tots.
Corbin played on a glade, his Corbin played. For this one, we have a musical number from a Celine Dion predecessor. Don't call her Celine Dion, though. She hates it.
No. But which of us didn't have our first dance to that classic song?
First kiss, first dance, first.
I think I'm nuts. I think I'm nuts.
Oh, classic.
Classic stadium rock, put on by that fantastic band, Salty But Sweet.
I think I'm nuts.
No one loves I Think I'm Nuts more than me.
Oh, and then this is a classic song that is on every wedding DJ's set.
Lincoln break. Oh, Lincoln break.
Don't Lincoln break my heart.
Nope, which is always what you want to hear at a celebration of joining of two people. It's that classic breakup song, Don't Break My Heart.
I don't think we forgot about spooky season because our final song on the album is about a portal to another world.
Wake
I'm scared.
No one expected the follow-up album of the Mamas and the Papas to be such a spooky number, but who can't love that one?
Who put this collection together?
That's so nice.
It was my mother. Call now and you can get all 17 discs for $8.99.
That's $899.
Yes, $899.
Don't forget to say the phone number.
Oh yes, 1-800-SING-ALONG.
Yeah.
Well,
by the way, that was a compilation of love songs.
Those are all love songs.
That's right.
Those are love songs.
All correct.
Sure.
Well, that was a great.
Yeah,
that was a great little episode.
Yeah, well, it was a roller coaster.
Yeah, it was a roller coaster. Some role play.
I think we severely traumatized Surena.
I think it might also delicious.
I will
delicious
never
ram hidi.
recover.
That ram hidi was so good. You gotta tell me.
Oh my gosh, that's what you're warming up in the microwave.
That is exactly what we were warming up in the microwave.
Nobody likes eating cold ram hidi.
Seriously, you gotta have it.
No.
Also, I had a bit of honey. That was fun.
No mint jelly?
Saw.
For sure.
Is
So.
that the amber goo that we're locked in?
So
props.
Also, why I thought you were sick.
No, that's not why I was sick.
You're inside there.
Just eating
sick in the head.
Yeah,
should
sick
be
in the
a
head,
mini
maybe.
inside.
Also, I don't know. Honey tastes great, guys. I don't know.
It
what
does.
It's
It
great.
does.
It's good for your autoimmune
Allergies,
system. I hear.
too.
I don't know
Yeah.
what
You said, how do you taste gray?
How do you taste gray? That's really the question that I want us to think about.
We're so existential.
Until the next episode.
That's what we
But
found
there's
on the
honey
trees.
and there's bees and
All connected.
bees love eggs.
Bees love eggs.
We gotta bring eggs.
Love them. They're obsessed with eggs.
Just go with it.
Okay.
Oh my God.
If you bring me eggs, I will eat them. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us again for an insane episode. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Thank you from all of us. And remember, humankind, be both! We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Greetings, friends and loved ones. As a thank you for the wonderful barrage of gift subs that you gave us last week, I have been charged with teaching you all and the cast the dance of the Funky Librarian. So here we are. Adam, please. It begins in a library. You're bored. It's late at night. You're stamping books, as you've done many nights. But then, you hear adventure. Eldritch Blast! Eldritch Blast! Eldritch Blast! Eldritch Blast! Mage Hand! Mage Hand! Mage Hand! Mage Hand! Misty Step! Misty Step! Misty Step! Misty Step! Demon Wings! Demon Wings! And then, you craft your Hunger of Hadar as you're dropping demonic and necrotic energy onto your enemies! And you do a funky freestyle into the end. And then, you bring it back together into the library.
We think we got it? Okay, everybody. We're going to do this again. I'm going to call in the cast now, and we're going to do this together. If you got it at home, please join along. It's a pretty good workout. I've been doing this all day.
Wow, there we go. I just like wandered onto set. Like, what's this about?
No
Where's
idea
your table?
what's going on. You good, Adam?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, great.
Oh, nope, don't got it. Sorry.
Thank you all. I appreciate it. Everybody think they got it?
Yeah.
All the best Warlock
We'll see,
Librarian
we'll see.
moves? Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go. When you're ready.
Eldritch Blast! Eldritch Blast! Eldritch Blast! Eldritch Blast!
Mage hands, mage hands, mage hands, mage hands, misty step, misty step, misty step, misty step, demon wings, demon wings, hunger of a dog.
One step and then another. Blessed are those who wander, branching, reaching. Depths of the forest are calling. The well-worn path will end before the journey has begun. Eyes to the sky, and you might find your way. Let fear ignite a light and shine another